Welcome to the Talking Conversation with John and Sumit.
In this podcast, we will be talking about topical debates and issues within society and how they affect us and what we think about them.
Yeah, just sharing different ideas, different viewpoints for information and just for fun.
Yeah.
That took you 10 times to try, you know.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's a Monday, excuse us. So, just want to put this out there that this podcast has no intention to hurt or harm anyone or individual group, company or society. Its pure purpose is a mere exchange of ideas and a joyful conversation with no implications. All views expressed are own and simply presented to share different ideas and views.
Thank you. And let's just start off with our first episode.
Before we go, we're not going away anywhere. Before we carry on with the conversation, you made a website called Edzuki.
Yes, I did.
Talk about it.
So Edzuki is an online platform where students and teachers can explore educational content from a wide range of subjects. So it can be used to facilitate classroom learning, for revision purposes, and also to, all in all, widen academic interests. So hope you guys check it out and tell me what you think.
Yeah, it's a great website. You should definitely go and visit.
So in today's episode, we will be talking about the effect of technology and education and how it will affect education running into the future.
Yeah, future. So, what do you think? What do you think the definition of education is? What's your definition?
Okay, so my definition of education stems from the ability for an individual to learn from others and from content they are passionate about and are excited to learn about.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to necessarily be in an institution, but it can be any form of learning. So it can be self-learning, learning from others, learning in a workplace.
True. You're always learning no matter where you are.
Exactly.
You're just walking, coming to school on the bus. You probably learn one or two new things. Probably find out something that you did not know before.
Yeah.
It could be anything. I don't know. It could be something small, maybe slightly irrelevant. Irrelevant.
Yes.
It's a Monday morning. Excuse my pronunciation, okay? Terrible. So, yeah. I like that. Because before we started the podcast, we were just scrutinizing the definitions from the dictionaries. So, according to the Oxford Dictionary, mighty Oxford, the education is the process of receiving or giving systematic instructions, especially at a school or university.
Yeah, and that's what I disagree about because it doesn't have to be at a school or university. And I think in terms of that definition, it's relating to information in terms of from an academic background.
Yeah, it's like systematic instruction. It's like what I mean. I think when it talks about systematic and instructions, it kind of limits you to that one strict passage. Yeah. And it's like, no, I can't do that.
Yeah, and the idea of having a routine or systematic way of learning is that sometimes you inhibit certain processes such as creativity, and for students and also teachers, right, to really express learning which matters to them and meets their interest and their own unique passions.
Yeah.
Ignore the bell.
The schoolboy agrees with you. Came at the perfect time. Okay, agrees with you. Like, yes, John. This is what the school means.
Ironic because a systematic bell.
Ironic. So I was like, okay, this is terrible definition. It's too restricting because learning is an experience of you just gathering knowledge, acquiring knowledge. So then I was like, nah, let's search the Cambridge dictionary to see what Cambridge thinks. And I was like, okay. So Cambridge defines it like so. It is a process of teaching or learning, especially in a school or college, or the knowledge that you get from this.
Right.
Again, like you said, school, college,
institution.
It's restricting it to you can only learn it in a body of institution and body of education. Whereas education, it's a constant process. It's a process.
It's like a learning curve.
Yeah, curve.
Third dictionary?
Third dictionary? Well, so I was like, okay, I was dissatisfied yesterday when I was searching this up. So it's like just do a random search on education, just pure education, and see what comes up. And the trusty Wikipedia is back. Wikipedia's not that bad, okay?
Yeah, who would have known?
Yeah. So education is the process of facilitating, I got that right this time, facilitating learning or the acquisition of knowledge, skills, values, beliefs, and habits. Educational methods include storytelling, discussion, teaching, training, and directed research. And that is, I think, quite beautifully put. Simple and beautiful. It is the acquisition of knowledge.
Yeah.
That is what it is. That is what true education is.
And it implies that you don't necessarily have to learn from a specific individual like a teacher in a classroom.
Yeah.
You can learn by yourself, read books,
Read books.
and widen your academic interest by also meeting other people who share the same.
Yes.
So
That's I think, the most important thing, the classroom aspect, or just the communication aspect of learning.
yeah, and how would technology facilitate to improve the sharing of collective beliefs, values, norms? And I think in a world so characterized by technology right now, we have to ask the important questions of how can technology improve education, not only in a classroom environment, but also how it will help teachers. For example, through admin.
Sorry, that was an awkward silence. I was just thinking, when you were talking about technology and its prevalence today, and just think. I just wrote down this point about Apple in education.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, the first thing you come up with is Apple, because they kind of promote their iPads especially to build for education.
Yeah.
So what do you think about Apple? In what you're saying, how it could help teachers in admin, how it can help students learn more in better ways.
My own personal view about Apple, it's a really fantastic company, has a rich history, and as you can see with the market, Apple is moving towards education, similar to like how Google is with their technologies, such as Google Classroom.
Yes, yeah.
But in terms of Apple itself, I think iPads are beautiful and intuitive for students and teachers to use. But there's this stigma around how expensive it will be for schools. And with the new iPad, yes, the price has dropped.
It's just the affordability, so that more students can afford. So you can get, basically, I think the main issue right now with education is the affordability of getting education, receiving education across the globe. It's not just restricting this to the UK, but across the globe,
and
there is that, issue.
Yeah, and on top of that, the idea that different schools have different budgets and different inequalities. And once we solve the inequalities, perhaps maybe through technology, but once we solve more social inequalities, like relative deprivation or poverty within schools or from the students themselves, I think we can start to implement technology in a rightful manner. Because now we see the abundance of technology, right? We have iPads, tablets, phones. But first, we have to solve the deeper problems within education, such as allowing students with special needs to have a thriving environment to learn in, or facilitating
different ways of using technology to improve their acquisition of knowledge.
And that's just one example. Education itself is very broad. There are a lot of aspects within education that we have to think about and see what solutions we can make.
I was just thinking, because we kind of take it for granted when we're in school. We've got these kind of electronic whiteboards, and from primary and secondary. Because when I was not born here. I was born in India. And if you go in India, many schools don't have this. There's still some schools still use chalkboard, which is nothing wrong with that. It's just you're still gaining knowledge, But I guess it kind of gives some students a disadvantage because they won't have the quick access to even more resources with the electronic whiteboard, because we're connected to the internet in the classroom. We have a greater access compared to other students, maybe the same age as us, other students in another country. So I was just thinking, maybe we should, I think one of the priorities should be to kind of, equalize that, What I'm trying to say, it's trying to,
and
equalize the, distribution.
Yes, the distribution, tech. But another issue with that is the idea that certain companies and firms may just think that if you implement technology, educational attainment and achievement will automatically improve. But that is not the case. Technology should not be an excuse used saying that technology will always improve how students or teachers learn and teach. The role of technology will be important, but what matters most is how we implement it, who it affects, and what problems are we solving.
Yeah, definitely.
I think if we answer those three questions, we will have approachable and human products which meet the requirements. No. Institution itself.
Yeah, I was just reading an article a few days back, some time ago. It was, I think, from the Forbes or something like that, from either the Forbes or the Medium, good sources.
Yeah.
So it's just talking about how AI could be implemented,
Right.
just artificial intelligence could be implemented in daily school life. So I think one good way it's suggested is having AI both in the classroom, so it can help teachers teach. So so in a sense that you have students from different backgrounds, different ways of learning, but using AI. So let's say a teacher's giving a presentation, for example, and there's some special need. There's a special need child in the class, so someone who maybe is not an audio learner, maybe is not has some audio disabilities or things like that. If AI automatically creates subtitles as the teacher speaks,
Right.
that
would be really helpful. Yeah.
And what I was thinking about that because there are schools for special needs children, but at the end of the day, after they kind of graduate and things like that, they will have to work with other humans. So by mixing the students, so having in each classroom some special needs children and some maybe not children who don't need that way, it also kind of creates an environment that creates better equality, obviously, and also it kind of creates different learning experiences because you learn from those experiences. You learn. The best way of learning is communicating with other people, the sharing of ideas. That's kind of the true essence of schooling.
And allowing diversity of thought in the classroom is very important. Malcolm Gladwell does explain in his one of his book that many people think that having larger classrooms with more students is a bad thing, and having people assume that having smaller classes is a very good thing, but
not always, not necessarily, but I kind of believe that it is kind of true.
So in his book called The David and Goliath, he talks about how there's this bell curve where the two extremes are bad, and the optimum class size is the one that the value in the middle, right?
Yeah.
So the two extremities of a smaller class or a larger class are bad. The reason that is the case because with a smaller class, although many people assume that the teacher may spend more time with students, and they should be right to think that, there's a lack of diversity of thought.
That's true.
And facilitating classroom discussion may also be inhibited by the small numbers. And when you look at a larger class, yes, for the teacher, it may be too many students to cope with. And so you have to hit that optimum
point, Yeah, totally agree with that. When you have two little students, you maybe get just the same students with the same similar mindset. You won't get different viewpoints.
Right. And then with more people, you can learn from them and collaborate, as you said.
Collaborate. And if you have too many people, it'd be hard for the teacher to cater kind of the way she teaches or he teaches a lesson in that particular way that as many students can understand and benefit from it.
And so I have a question that comes swiftly down this path. We are facing a teacher shortage.
Yeah, crisis.
A crisis.
That's all you hear in the news now. It's crisis.
So how do you think AI or technology will help to remove pressures caused by this teacher shortage?
That's a tricky question to answer.
Because it may look really simple at first because we have this picture of AI robots replacing teachers.
I think that's never going to happen. And there's many articles on it saying that many people have that kind of view that oh no, there's going to be robots. There's going to be AI robots everywhere. Like no, they're like no, that's not the main idea. And I'm glad that's not the main idea these companies are going forward with. Achieving. That's the main idea. I kind of forgot now. You're helpful.
It'll come back to me.
You're helpful, John. You're very
helpful.
Back to us.
But I think AI's use can be help to free up time for teachers.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
yeah,
carry on.
go on.
I've
Yeah,
got
and
my
then-
idea back. Yeah. Go on.
Yeah, and the idea that AI can complement
Yes, that's
The-
what I was exactly say. I was exactly going to say that.
the tasks or activities that the teacher has to do. And also on top of this, the idea that schools will become 24/7 institutions, that's very exciting. Because we remove any barriers.
24-hour drive-through.
Yeah.
Education drive-through.
Yeah, education drive-through. Because I think what in society nowadays, when you're hearing about flexible workplace hours, you know, this impression that young workers are demanding flexible work hours, and when you take that to an institution sort of
Yeah.
debate, there is this question about why do we go to school for a set period of time? Why can't we move the hours of when students and teachers, or when the school is operative, why can't we make that more flexible to fit students' needs? And then this comes back to the idea of flexibility in the timetable and routine. And as we mentioned at the start of the episode, right? This idea that a systematic routine inhibits creativity
Yeah.
and development of other forms of intelligence.
Yes.
I think if we have this idea of flexibility and trust that our teachers,
Yeah, put on us and we put on them.
yeah, to help support them, I think we can make a better system, a more inspirational system where more students are included and respected.
The diversity.
Diversity.
I was just going back to your point. You talk about shortage of teachers.
Right.
A good way that AI can be used is if you have like recorded sessions, recorded like teaching sessions. That can be, then AI can obviously translate all of that into different languages. So you can have access. So other people who maybe can't go to school, don't have access. They can have this way of accessing the kind of same education.
And last week we had we had Professor Rose Luckin come in to give us a lecture about how AI will affect education, and then she picked up upon a very important aspect, which was how you have this example of a translator, a technology which translates languages, but does it really understand the language it is translating, or is it just swapping letters for the right ones in
Google
another
Translate,
language?
hashtag Google Translate.
Yeah, Google Translate is an example. And once we, I think, get to the stage where maybe technology and AI specifically understands the subtleties and the meanings and the purpose of words or language or communication devices, I think that will be a very important milestone in
The
AI
education-
generally,
AI
but how it will affect
Yeah,
education.
it'll have a huge impact
Right.
on education and how it can be spread to more people and have access to more people.
Right.
Another way,
Yeah.
I was just thinking, so when it comes to grading, testing, assessments, whatever, AI can help in that.
Right.
Obviously, grading, marking can do some of that.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking, obviously the teacher element of marking is much better.
Yeah, especially when you come to the
Yeah.
humanities,
Humanities,
the essay
even,
writings.
even science, things
Yeah.
like that. Just any subject. I can't think of any subject
Maths.
really. I mean, even maths.
Yeah.
A teacher can see which student struggles particularly more in.
like the process.
Yeah, I mean, the student can understand every single thing. It's just you just input certain numbers wrong on the calculator. I've done that too many times. Shh! Don't tell my teachers. So yeah, so it can help. It can help in grading, marking, and all of that. So I was thinking if that's a good thing. So when teachers should do their marking.
Yeah.
Teachers should do the marking. No, we did not drop maths. No, thank you, John, for telling me this secretly behind. Okay. We're not telling you anything. Shh, keep quiet. Okay, let's carry on.
Yeah.
So, education, teaching, marking.
Yeah.
So teachers should mark, obviously, they get an insight. But I was thinking, if AI has a look through, analyzes the data, see where which students are making mistakes there, which students are making mistakes there, and things like that, and then help the teacher find resources that can cater these students to get help in these areas. So let's say they struggle in, I don't know, Pythagoras. I'm going to maths again because maths.
Yeah.
So they're struggling in Pythagoras. So maybe give them extra worksheets, give them extra guidance, give them extra resources that they can practice Pythagoras, for example. And maybe these students are finding something geometry, for example. I don't know.
Right.
That's the first thing. That's
Yeah. And
so yeah, I think that way, if we can help cater the special kind of needs, cater it towards the students. That would be the best achievement that AI could
Right. So you brought up two very important aspects, of which was the idea of a teacher facilitating a role to guide the student.
Yeah.
And also the other aspect of personalized learning.
Personalized learning.
So catering to the needs of the individual rather than a group of people.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
the idea of personalized learning, I think an important experience which I've had was when one of my teachers argued how when you get a raw mark, or say 10 out of 20 or 15 out of 20, it's a really poor indicator of how well you achieved.
Yeah.
And then she talked about how giving constructive feedback without a mark is more important, because the student knows how to improve for next time and why they can improve.
Yeah.
Which is more important in learning, because definitely. I'm pretty sure we mentioned this already, but learning is an ever-growing experience.
Yeah.
We constantly learn and improve over time. We learn from other people, the content we love, and also from wider experiences such as extracurricular clubs, events, meeting other people from other schools or other places. I think that is what learning is about.
Yeah, totally. I completely agree with you. I'm just kind of writing this kind of quick kind of idea. I had this down because we're kind of nearing the end of the episode soon. So maybe I think we can split this podcast into two to have this education part 1, part 2.
Yeah.
Maybe next week or the week after.
Yeah.
So.
And the good thing about education is it's always gonna change.
Always gonna change.
And it's very diverse if you look at different countries, right? Different systems, different ideologies, different concepts. And there is no one size fits all technology or AI device.
And there can never be one, because every one of us are unique. So we each learn, or we each find certain things more interesting.
Right.
So the main focus, I guess, is how technology should be implemented, going back to the main kind of
the implementing of technology is very important, because I think there's a lot of fear of technology within the classroom
education
or
market,
education area or field, market. Once we remove that fear of technology by creating products or services or solutions that fit to the individual and the individuals want to use, I think that's the beauty in it.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Just coming back to the way how Apple promoted their iPhone and things like that. It's like a personalized device. It's your personal tool to further grow your creativity, your imagination, and everything.
And that is why Apple was and is so revolutionary. They believe that people with passion can change the world.
Yeah.
And that similar ideology, I think, if they rightfully and with intent move that concept into the Apple for Education area of their company, I think that will be very interesting and hopefully exciting and move education forward.
Yeah.
But it does take time.
Obviously, it takes time. But yes, it's like education is like a giant mold.
Yeah.
And each individual is the education kind of the system has to be shaped in a way that it can fit each individual in their personalized way. Right. And that's how tech in the classroom. So even like just iPads, having iPads, using that way to make notes, record notes, get access to other resources, even in the lesson. When you're in the lesson, so let's say you didn't understand something the teacher's saying, but there's like 30 other people, and the teacher just wants to move on to do these questions.
Yeah.
So that you can use having like an iPad or like a device there, so they can search for maybe some another explanation. They can maybe go on YouTube.
Right.
There's like thousands of videos.
Yeah.
Thousands of videos.
Yeah. But with the the implementation of technology, it is important that we implement technology in order to improve educational achievement. Not just because it's this cool technology. Because at the end of the day, as Guy Kawasaki said, innovation is not about building cool technologies. It's about creating happy people, and that should be the impact of education as well. Creating happy people.
Creating happy people, yes. Creating creative minds.
Creative minds.
know?
Diverse experiences and
broaden
experiences as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, as in the main point of education, I guess, or the main purpose, as many people see it as, it is well, at least I think it should be. It is to build personalities, build kind of personalities to inspire, to improve their imagination, and inspire them to do something so brilliant in this world that it can completely shape
And I
shape
think
our future, because that's what it is. It is a constant process of making things better for the future, not just for them but for everyone around them. That is the true essence of knowledge. It is like it's a beautiful truth of life.
Right, and the responsibility of us as a society is to build a education which exposes young minds to the best things which humans have done in the past. And this is when history comes in as so important. We can look back into key individuals and events and explore how these can help to inspire us to create a better future. And we can learn from our mistakes as a society and help build an education system which not only meets the individuals of society, but helps to create a more inspirational and meaningful world. And I think passion is the key value which is missing in the system today. Once we come back to the idea of individuals chasing after their passions and interests, that's when the best education happens.
But yes, when they're not learning, to get a high career job or get into this university place, when they actually learn because they're fascinated, they're interested in their subject. That is that is the true thing. I see that very lacking.
Yeah.
You just sit in your classroom. Just go after you listen to this. Just go sit to your next lesson, classroom, whenever it is, or just wherever you are, sit in the cafe. You think sit around and see how many people actually care about what they're learning. How many people actually keep want to learn just because it's fun, just because I learned something new. That's all. So how can I incorporate this into my work? How can I do something? That's just fascinating.
Right.
I don't hear that. I don't. I mean, I do hear it sometimes, but it's
Not
so
a
rare
lot.
nowadays.
Yeah.
It's so rare nowadays.
It should be everyone, right?
Yeah.
Because
there's not that drive to just excel in that education. Just have fun in that kind of playground of knowledge.
And the idea that we inhibit creativity and passion, I think that should be disregarded, and something has to improve to facilitate those very important types of intelligence.
And now that's a whole other podcast debate. Intelligence and knowledge
and creativity.
Yes, creativity. How they're interlinked, but so different at the same time. That's actually quite nice. Yeah, that's a good one. We could maybe talk about it in the next part too, for example. I just want to end, very quickly before going to the end, with just kind of one point. I think the main problem in the current modern world is education. People are not educated enough to respect other people, to respect just life. So you just see on social media, just see everywhere, the way they behave, the way they criticize directly, the way before even thinking or understanding the other person's viewpoint, they judge.
Assume.
Assume, yes, main problem, assumptions. Things like that. I think that's the main issue. People, it's lack of education, and education starts at home. It starts the day you're born, in school, at home, everywhere you are, traveling, sitting, sleeping. education is that, constant evolution of yourself. And I think that's the main issue, sadly. Yeah, very sad. That the main issue is lack of education across the world.
Yeah.
True education.
Yeah.
People get into this materialistic world and forget the true essence of, why they're here
And
why we are humans and we're one together.
And I think it's significant. But though these problems exist, that it's important to have faith
Yeah.
that individuals like the younger generation and people who view the world differently can help to improve or build solutions which do help people from all backgrounds, all beliefs and all values. Yeah, and hopefully with the use of technology, we can help to come back to this notion of education being, first of all, important and meaningful.
Meaningful and fun.
And fun.
Because I don't know, I see many videos on YouTube saying, my school taught me nothing. I'm like, I feel kind of annoyed with that.
Right.
I mean, I agree, the school is not every school, and even all the school policies are not the best way of teaching. But it's kind of like completely disrespectful and disregarding what education is.
Yeah.
Because people often view school equals education.
Yeah, but it's not the case.
It's not the case. And, when youngsters... because now everyone has access to pretty much technology, some form of technology, mobile phones, big example, smartphones. So like children as young as 6, 7, they watch these videos and then they have this kind of notion that it's not a good thing. That's it's useless, it's meaningless, like you said.
And on top of that, right? You should not people for example, like people who criticize the system. I think instead of criticizing it, you should help to improve it, right?
Yeah.
There's no point just talking about a problem because we have choice. We have the ability to use our knowledge and other people's knowledge to build solutions. And that should be the goal, not to criticize, but to see where the problems lie at, where the weaknesses are.
Yeah, totally.
Look at them from a fundamental first principles way of thinking and help to build useful solutions to those.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to end this week.
Thank you.
First week.
Yeah.
So mind our weird voices. Extremely
weird. We are still learning how to do a
learning.
podcast.
Still learning. Eventually get there. Like we kind of be saying, repeatedly saying.
Yeah, like a learning curve.
It's a learning curve. It's an evolution.
An evolution, right? Yeah.
I like to put it that way.
Yeah.
It's actually a good way. Everything is just an evolution because it's a constant process of improving yourself.
Yeah, one little step at a time to a much bigger goal.
Yes. So
thank you
this
for
is John
listening.
and Sumit.
Yep.
This podcast will be on YouTube.
Yep.
Soon. I don't know when. Tonight, maybe in 2 days. And also, it will be on Edzuki. I will also link John's website onto it. So please go there. You can find many resources. There's teachers, students sharing different resources and ideas. So there's art pages and drama pages, even math, science pages, many different pages. So I'm going to end it there quickly. Have a good day.
Thank you for listening. See you until
next week, or for part 2 or some other topic. Do comment on what topics we should discuss on.
And how we can improve. That is always useful.
Give us a like, subscribe if you want to see us mess around more.
Anyways, see you later.
See you later. Bye bye.